A corruption and bribery investigation in Turkey is striking at the very heart of government and focusing attention on an increasingly bitter feud between former allies. Prominent figures from business and banking, the police and government are being dragged into the scandal. Well, there have been detentions and dismissals, and now 2 cabinet members whose sons were among those arrested as part of the graft probe have resigned. The Economy Minister Zafer Çalayan and Interior Minister Muammer Güler were both denied they did anything wrong. They've described the investigation as a dirty conspiracy against the government, the AJE party and the country. Well, it's all serving to highlight an underlying rift between the Prime Minister Tayyip Erdogan's AJE party and an influential Muslim cleric. This man, Fethullah Gülen, lives in self-imposed exile in the United States. His Gülen movement helped the AJE party come to power in 2002, and he still wields considerable influence over the police and judiciary. Well, a recent police crackdown on corruption led to the arrests of dozens of high-profile figures close to the government, including the sons of the 2 cabinet ministers who've now resigned. Well, the Prime Minister Erdogan responded by sacking dozens of police chiefs, saying the corruption probe was nothing more than a smear campaign against his government. Well, the scandal comes at a difficult time for Erdogan, who faces local elections in March, followed by a presidential poll a few months later. Let's get more now from Isil Sariyuce in Istanbul. Tell us, first of all, a little bit more about the ministers who've resigned.
The first minister who resigned is Economy Minister Zafer Çalayan, and the second is Interior Affairs Minister Muammer Güler. Muammer Güler is at the top of the police department, who is in charge of investigating all these accusations. So there were calls from the public for the last week for the ministers to resign for the sake of the investigations, because till last week there were about 100 policemen, over 100 policemen who were reassigned. So those ministers this morning resigned, saying that to help the truth to come out, we are resigning, but they still deny the accusations, of course.
Okay, where do these resignations leave the investigation and the whole affair?
Because these are very significant and important ministers, or they deny the accusations related to bribery about an urban construction project, but that especially Interior Minister, since the police is investigating on the issue and he's on top of the police department, his resignation means a lot. We have to say that Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan, since the start of the scandal, was very defiant. He was saying that it's an international plot against his government, against his party, and against Turkey, this country. And he was hinting U.S. and he was saying that there are also internal gangs hinting Fethullah Gülen movement, who is based in U.S. So we have to say that what's been happening in Turkey for the last 1 week, including the resignation of ministers, is very significant, and we'll see in the upcoming days how all these things will affect the popularity of Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who got 50% of the vote in the last election, and there are 2 more elections, upcoming elections in Turkey in 2014.
All right, thanks so much, Isil Sariyuce there.